Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your Vibe Mentor, bringing you another video on how to raise your vibration so you can live your best life. Let's talk today about connection to source and whether or not you can be disconnected. It is interesting how I receive this question a lot, that there are people who struggle with the dark night of the soul who question whether or not they have been cut off from source, or if they are disconnected or even being punished. There's sort of a sense of being in prison or being trapped either in your minds or in a life that you don't love, or even just a general sense of disconnection in general from the world around you, from people you love, ultimately from love itself, which would boil down to connection to source. So the simple answer is no. No matter who you are, no matter what situation you are in, you cannot be disconnected completely or cut off completely from source. You can get very far away. You can get numb and you can become calcified in a way, in many ways, and that can create a sense of disconnection. But ultimately, at the end of the day, no matter who you are, what you've done, or what the world does to you, you cannot be completely cut off from source. And so I want to run through some things as to why I know that to be true. And I may have to make this a bit of a series because there is a theme that is coming through very slowly but surely around the body. And if you've seen a previous video that I did, I'll link that here. It was around the body and how it is crystalline, that we are crystalline already. Of course, we are becoming more and more crystalline, but the simple fact of the matter is that we are made of calcium. We know our bones are calcium, but we are also, our cells are lined with silica, our connective tissues are silica, and the two primary ingredients in a crystal are silica and calcium. So if you look at the way your body resonates with something, with the way that our cells light up as we open up versus the contraction and the closing down, you'll have a sense of knowing through your experience that this is true, that our body is intended to be a conduit of energy, and that we are like giant superconductors. We are giant crystals. I like to use the analogy of Tesla towers, that we are designed to pull in energy and bring it through and transmute. And when I was first being honored and gifted and blessed with this information, it felt as if we were calling in creator source energy, as if it was out there somewhere and we were to call it in to move it through. But what we'll sort of discuss today is the evidence that it is already in us. And yes, we are calling energy in, but it doesn't mean that it necessarily has to be outside of us, that the transmutation and the alchemy and the spirit of your creator is within you. So I pulled together a couple of different, I hate to use the word religion, because to me, religion is the organization of men who have used positive spiritual truths to benefit their power and control, and that is certainly not what I mean here. So what I would like to reference are the wisdoms that are known throughout spiritual traditions, not saying religion, but that may apply. Okay, so from a Christianity perspective, we have the Bible verse, Psalms 46:5. It says, God is within her, and she will not fall. God will help her at the break of day. Now, this is totally off topic, but just take note of that break of day, because I think there is a knowing that available to us that will come through very soon around the 3 a.m. and the 3 p.m. period of time, that the veil is most thin there, and that's why we're designed to rest, to be at peace, and to be in stillness allows us to open up even more. But point being, for this video, God is within her, in us, right? And there was another verse that said the kingdom of God is within you, right? In Buddhism, the body and the spirit are not separate, but combine and interact in a complex way. And you'll find as you look at the different traditions that some will say they are separate, some will say they're not separate, but they intermingle in a way that creates a sense of unification. Some will say the body is a vessel, others will say that the body is not a vessel, that it's part of us. I think there is more to understand around that, but for the sake of this topic, it is a bit of semantics, that it is unified unified and also separate. The same way that your heart and your lungs are in your body, and yet they are also separate entities. And so the key learning here is the next step in our awareness around this important factor that we need to be aware of is the sense that everything we seek is within us. And we've heard that term, and yet it may or may not have resonated with some of you in the way that it needs to. That when we hear the suggestions to not look outside of us, but to look within, it's similar ways of saying something that we have yet to fully grasp and to maximize in a cellular awareness, right? That our Creator's energy, source, divine, God, spirit, the universe, doesn't matter what term you use, a rose by any other name still smells as sweet. You cannot change that fact, no matter what you call it. It is here and it is in you. It is part of your body and your being. And so again, kind of going back to some of these traditions or religions and their wisdom that they have been sharing with us for a long time, that in Hinduism, the body is considered as part of being of the body of God, right? And that conversely symbolizes that we essentially contain the cosmos within our body. So you can say God, source, divine, creator, universe, all of those things, doesn't matter which name you call it, are in you. And so it's not like we are grasping outside of us for something that's so far away. You know, in Christianity, God is in heaven. Heaven is so far away that you can't reach him and you can't talk to him. And in even some religions, they'll say that you're not allowed to talk to him, which is absolutely crazy to me. Besides the point, most important being that it is in you. Everything you seek is within your body. That we were made in our Creator's image. And every breath is the breath of life that was breathed into you. The only creation that was created with the breath of the Creator. Everything else was created with a word. And you were not only made in his, he, she, it, they, them, his image, but your body is part of your Creator's body. That there is a divinity and a preciousness about the physical body that we have not yet fully realized. There is a power and a gift in this that we have not maximized. And there's talk about, the meat suit. And I understand the intention behind that theory is to not identify with the body, that it is transitory, that it will pass, that your soul is what really matters. All of this is something I agree with and I would recommend. But at the same time, I think there's a diminishing of the vehicle, the gift that we have been given, that we have been asked to honor and respect and utilize. That these gifts are given to us so that we can shine our light, so that we can do good deeds, so that we can create heaven on earth. And to minimize the value of the body does us all collectively a great disservice. That there is a power and a gift that we need to grab a hold of. And I think those things are worth discerning the difference between, because the power that is available to us, when you resonate with something, when you vibrate at a high core level, every ounce of your being is vibrating at a higher frequency. It's all part of your ascension process, right? It is all part of your tapping into your guidance, your calling through the creative source energy that's available to you so that you can do good deeds, right? And it is also a gift. The body is there to hold you. The body is, whether you want to call it the temple or the vessel, it doesn't really matter. But it not only houses you, your heart, your soul, your emotions, your mind, but it also houses your direct connection to your Creator. It's kind of like a mother hugging or holding a baby. And so when we talk a little bit about self-love, people feel like I need to look in the mirror and say, oh, you're beautiful. Or, oh, what a funny and fun person you are. And that can be part of it. We certainly don't want to look in the mirror and have disparaging things to say, but we do also want to have a sense of, I am so grateful for this vehicle that I have been given. I care about how my body feels. I care about what it wants to eat or when it needs sleep. To care about how you feel, to me, is a greater sense of self-love than bubble baths and liking what you see in the mirror. So in Taoism, they actually practice to develop the body to act toward the level of primordial energy. So that's a fancy way of saying with the intention of getting the body back to its original state, back to its original energetic starting point. That we have been diminished physically over time through stress, through environmental toxins, through separation or the seeming of separation. And this has taken a toll on the body, that the body, we should nurture it from an energetic and an emotional and a spiritual standpoint so that we can get it back to how it was intended, how it was created to be, right? That the body is no longer a mere means to living, but it becomes the universe in and of itself, right? In Islam and Judaism, the body is not considered ours, but rather a gift from God to be used for good and not ill. That it is a reflection, that we mirror each other, and it is a reflection, a gift to others. As they see us, they see themselves in us and through us. And so we are to protect and nurture it. The same way you would a loving mother who's cared for you. Because she nurtures you and holds you and allows you to live another day, to take another step, to heal from all of the hardship that you've put it through. Right? That the body is the home of the soul. That there literally is a spark of God within us, and the body allows us to hold that, to be directly connected, completely inseparable. As long as you breathe, the breath of life courses through you. You cannot be separated. A few other fun facts to help illustrate the point. The body is an asset. It is an untapped resource. So you have a system, a network of systems within you. The brain is intelligent, but the heart is also intelligent. The gut is also intelligent. There are neurons in the heart and in the gut, but also in the nervous system, all throughout your body. Your entire body is communicating and translating information all the time. That is far more powerful than we realize, and it is not something to be diminished to a meat suit, right? It is a divine instrument. An instrument. Think of it that way, a tuning fork, kind of like a piano. You pluck the strings and they vibrate and they create music. The beauty in your life is created through your body, the resonance. So from a psychological and biological standpoint, the brain has to match in chemistry the thoughts you choose. Right? The thoughts you choose. It is a choice. The beliefs that you choose are the foundation for the thoughts that you will choose. And from there, the brain matches in chemistry, whatever matches those thoughts. So if it's stressful, disparaging thoughts, you're going to feel like crap. You're going to have cortisol and adrenaline rushing through your body. And you're going to feel tense and anxiety and depression. And that is going to be your emanation, your frequency, your vibration. And then, of course, because we are magnetic beings, electromagnetic beings, we have a frequency and a vibration, which of course attracts to it likeness. Whether or not we want to consider manifestation metaphysical or too woo-woo or something too difficult to manifest or too difficult to manage, the truth is we are creators and we are creating our life. And our body is the instrument with which we create. And so we need to look at our body as a divine instrument that offers us the direct connection to transfer through, to utilize our creative energy that was gifted to us so that we can shine our light, we can have peace and joy and happiness, so that again, through our peace and joy and happiness, we are shining our light and we are drawing others to us, living by example, so that people ask us the question, why are you so happy? How do I have what you have? And it starts with the body and the relationship with it and the understanding of the gift that it is for us, right? The body is wise. Collectively, I would like to think it is smarter than the brain, especially with all of the different systems we have available to us, all the different levels of intelligence. The brain is often the last to know. The brain is not a bad guy, although the trauma brain is not your friend. The brain can be used for very good things. It's part of receiving and translating and delivering the message, but oftentimes we're too in our head. We use too much of our brain and not enough of our body. That there should be balance, as with anything. How much do you use your heart? How much do you use your gut versus how much do you use your brain? And how do we bring that back into balance? Remembering that if the majority of the silica and the calcium in our bodies are actually in our bodies and not necessarily in our brain, that there's a massive, tremendous amount of power available to us in our bodies. And that our brain often is the very thing that gets in our way. When people say get out of your own way, it is the thinking process that is getting in the way. It is the negative disbelief. I'm not enough, I can't, I'm not worthy. All these blocks and barriers. Anytime you say I can't, you have built your own brick wall in front of you, keeping you from the very thing that you're trying to achieve. So remain as king when you're asking the question, how can I make this work? Always keep those doors open, right? Remember that the body is infinitely wise and it has the ability to heal us. This is another critical point, is when we look at amazingly gorgeous, beautiful, spiritual people who have the best intent of all that I've known, they would do amazing things with $1 million. They would be radically generous, and yet we can't step out of poverty. We can't step into our life purpose. And the primary reason, with all of the people I've spoke with, hundreds now at this point, 3 to 6 people a day, every single one of them struggles with the unworthiness wound. Every single one. It is the very thing that ties all of us together right now and keeps us from our purpose, from our joy, from our bliss, from doing good things in the world, from building heaven on earth. And it's kind of funny because good-hearted spiritual people signed up for a hard life. For whatever reason, we needed those lessons to help us be stronger, to teach others, to empathize, to be able to teach from a place of knowing and experience. And that's great. We've been through that. We survived. We're here now. Problem is we've got the block of unworthiness, the block of complex trauma. So the body is the key to healing that. The body keeps the score. The body holds the memory of the trauma. The body holds the belief of not enoughness. And so as we tap into the resources of the body, either through brain spotting with me or someone else, brain spotting in all of the trauma healing modalities that I have experienced is the number one thing that has truly made a difference. So if you can't do it with me, find someone who you can do it with, but it is possible. And you'll find that brain spotting, by accessing the subconscious brain through the optical nerve, it's complex. If you want to know more about it, check out the brain spotting video. But it is possible to heal. And you'll find that as you do this, you'll see the tremendous awe-inspiring power that the body can deliver for you, right? That the body has infinite wisdom and intelligence that we have not given it credit for. There are neurons, like I said, all throughout the body. And so it's time for us to really start to maximize our abilities and our God-given gifts to create heaven on earth. And I like to ask, do you want to be part of the new earth construction team? Because if you're really ready, if you're really a growth warrior, and you're really ready to collaborate and to heal, to do the work to get past this unworthiness wound and the blocks that keep you from stepping into your life purpose and assisting the collective and building heaven on earth, then it's time. Now's the time. We are being called to awaken. There is no more waiting. And you won't miss the boat because you'll always be able to step into it. But there is a yummy, juicy energy that's available to all of us right now that is supporting us in this new transition in how we approach life and how we see ourselves, that we are our creator's favorite, that we are not an accident. We were made with purpose and intention. We are perfectly imperfect for the purpose we were made for. The very specific purpose is what will utilize all aspects of you, and every ounce of you, even the ones you thought were a liability, matter and are important and are needed. And now is the time. Use the resource of the body. Learn how to tap into that healing modality because it can heal you. So network of systems available to us. The intelligence living inside of us is not yet tapped into. The nervous system carries the messages to the vital organs. So this is an interesting kind of twist, and yet it all plays into it. So there's a guy by the name of Greg Braden. He is a scientist, I believe a geologist. He seems to be a historian. He studies everything. And he recently discovered, although it's, I think, a process that he's been working on for quite a while now, that the strands of DNA have letters correlated to them. And in deciphering ancient texts, by looking at the different ancient languages, those languages were also correlated to numbers. And then those numbers correlated to if I'm going to explain this correctly, correlated to the elements of the periodic table, which correlate to the strands of DNA. And essentially, it's a code that he deciphered. And when he deciphered this code, the first strand of every piece of DNA says the exact same thing. And what it translates to is God, eternal, within the body. Now, if your creator encoded that message in the first strand of every piece of DNA, do you think that's important? Does that send us the message that there is something about the body that we need to fully understand? The DNA in our bodies is what expresses who we are. It expresses our personality, how we are seen, how we show up, the gifts we have to offer. So here's a fun fact, that when the DNA strands are under stress, essentially when we're in fight or flight, the DNA strands compress and it kind of folds in on itself. It becomes more of a circular shape instead of the long stretched out DNA strand that we're used to seeing. And what that tells us is that the instructions for our life are written in our DNA. The joys, the passions, the interests, who you are designed to be, the purpose and intention you were created for is in your DNA. And when we are under stress, when we are under those thoughts that tell us you're not enough, you'll never get it right, you'll always fail, you're going to be judged, you're going to get hurt, it's better to play small, be hyper vigilant, constantly look out for who's coming after you, your DNA is compressed. Basically, you're offline. Who you are meant to be, your power, your strengths, your gifts, cannot express. But if we are in a stressed, relieved state, that's why meditation is so important. When we can calm the nervous system, when we can strengthen the parasympathetic nervous system, the vagus nerve turns on the parasympathetic nervous system, that turns everything on. So essentially, if you're in fight or flight, all you need to do is run. So digestion is turned off, healing and growth repair is turned off, your cognitive function is basically offline. You cannot think properly. You'll think erratically and emotionally and quickly, and you'll maybe get out of there, but likely you'll cause some problems along the way, tripping over something and creating another mess. Or what's clearly for us is to rest in trust, in peace, in joy, knowing that we are cared for, knowing that this is part of our DNA, that our soul is intelligent, our internal connection to our Creator will guide us and care for us. The birds never struggle for food, the trees never look for water, the flowers never worry about what they're going to wear. And we have been asked to do the same. We have been asked to rest and to release, so that in that calm stillness, we can expand our DNA strands and fully express the gifts and the power that we have been gifted and given and asked to express, right? No more worry, no more stress, no more fear, no more discounting your ability or your worth or your value. Any of those lower emotions create the stress hormones, create the lower vibration, create the negative attraction point, create negative things in your life, compress your DNA so that you can't express. That is that feeling of being shut off, cut off, disconnected. When at the end of the day, all we all truly seek is that feeling of connection and of love, worthiness. And if you are your Creator's favorite, how could you not be worthy? It's not possible. Literally, your Creator's name is written on your DNA. It is in you. It is part of you. It is not out there. It is more than attainable. Go within. Bring your focus and attention, your awareness inside your body. That's all you have to do. Don't think about it. Don't analyze it. Remember, we're turning the mind off. The mind's done enough. We've survived. We've gotten this far. Especially if you have not processed or healed trauma. The trauma brain is not your friend. Bring your awareness, quiet mind, not analytical mind, quiet observational mind. Awareness only inside the body. What calls your attention most? What area of your body has the most sensation? And be there. Breathe into it and be with it and watch it ebb and flow and shift and change and move. It will have messages for you. Things will come to your brain that you didn't create, and that's great. It will deliver beautiful messages, healing messages. And then understand, see that thought, recognize the gift, and come back to the body. Bring your awareness back to whatever has the most sensation in that next moment. Now, in brain spotting, you do it with somebody, we amplify, right? Because as we connect our systems, our nervous systems entrain to each other, we're amplifying our energetic transmutation. The torus field of energy that flows through us is amplified as we connect with each other, which is why brain spotting is so powerful. But you can also do this on your own. And remember, when you're in that state of gratitude, if you must think of something, just keep saying thank you. Thank you, and be present, right? So let's start loving and nurturing and caring for our bodies. Let's get off the battlefield of negative vibrations, negative thinking, disbelief, distrust, judgment, and just be so grateful for the gift that we have been given. This loving mother, if you had complex trauma and your mom wasn't there for you, you have a mother in your body. She will rock you and hold you. Surrender all of your cares, all of your worries, all of your stress. And as soon as you let go, I promise you, if you let go and you step into trust and you remain as king when you're asking the question, what is my next right step? Then take action. That's all you have to do. Ask the question, remain in surrender and trust. Ask the question, what is my next right step? Trust that you will be guided, and then take the action. And it is that simple. Trust, surrender, ask for guidance, take the step. Okay? And that is it. You will be led to peace. You will be led to joy. As long as you don't disbelieve. You deserve the power. You deserve the gifts. You deserve the joy. You deserve the peace. You deserve to be happy. You deserve an amazing, awesome, juicy life. There is nothing standing in your way but you, which is your thoughts, right? And that's not even you. You are not your thoughts. So I love you. I love you so, so much. And I really enjoy connecting with all of you. Thank you for those of you who have scheduled the time. It is a pleasure to meet you and to hear about your challenges. And I also look forward to hearing about the growth that you have experienced or will experience shortly. And for those of you who have not connected, definitely reach out. There's a link below to schedule a free 30-minute session if you want to identify your blocks and start healing either your trauma or your unworthiness wound. That is what these sessions are for. And of course, please do like, subscribe, and share. That helps me grow the channel and to make sure that these messages reach more ears and beautiful souls. So to subscribe, this button here, something like that, will help you out. And then another video here to continue on this journey and learn more about how to use your beautiful, awesome gifts. All right, guys, I will see you on the next video, and I love you. Namaste.